These stories revolve around a girl named Sarah, who is 17 years old and just a few days away from turning 18. She gets along happily with everyone except her dad. One night, Sarah has to go to a party but her dad, whose name is Don, doesn't allow her, and on this matter, Sarah tells her mom that you had allowed me, but her mom, fearing her dad, says it's okay, don't go today. And then the poor girl starts arguing about it, so Don scolds her and sends her to her room. There, her older sister Amy lives. She's the eldest daughter, and she only comes home occasionally because she has an out-of-station job. Then, secretly, Sarah sneaks out with her boyfriend to that party. Amy goes to talk to Sarah there, but she doesn't find her, and seeing this, Don gets really angry and starts waiting for her. On the other side, Sarah is spending quality time with Chris and he plays a song for her. The next morning, Sarah returns home. Don scolds her, but then Amy arrives, so Sarah frees herself from Don and goes to her bedroom. Amy meets Sarah and asks about the party, and she also sits there with them, and the three of them start chatting. Sarah tells them that when she turns 18 she'll leave. And there she'll get a job and live comfortably on her own. Don overhears this conversation, and then he goes to the basement and opens a secret room that was hidden behind books. Then Don waits 3 months because Sarah's graduation is still pending, and 3 months later, Sarah is talking to Chris on the phone and then leaves for her walk. Then Amy tells her that she's going to the market. Will you come with me? But Sarah refuses, and after Amy leaves, Don calls Sarah and tells her that this box needs to be delivered, and they both take that box to the basement. And then Don opens that room, and seeing that room, Sarah feels weird, like how was there even a room here? And then Don and Sarah enter that secret room, and Don tells her that this is the room where during World War times, people used to hide. And then he locks Sarah inside the room and leaves. Then Sarah starts screaming at the gate. Sarah starts getting really scared and begins entering the pin to open the gate. But if 3 attempts fail, the room's lights go off, and along with that, the ventilation also shuts down, which could cause suffocation problems for Sarah. In that box, there are survival essentials like some clothes, a blanket, tissue paper, a torch, and so on, and in the room there's a sink light and a ventilation grill. Then Sarah starts calling for help through that ventilation grill, and Don notices that Sarah's voice is coming through it, so he throws a blanket over it, and now Sarah's voice doesn't come at all, and moreover, that room is soundproof from the outside. That same night, Amy starts worrying about where Sarah has gone, and she checks with all of Sarah's friends, but none of them know anything about her. And there, Don is sitting comfortably. The next day, Sarah tries entering the pin to open the door. And after 3 failed attempts, the lights go off, but they come back on after a while, and she uses a bucket for her toilet needs because there was no toilet. Then 4 days later, Don comes near Sarah's side, and seeing her exhausted face, she tries to go out of the room. But there's another door outside that door, and that one also opens from the outside. Don grabs Sarah by her hair, drags her back into the room, and tells her that I'll give you everything and even set you free if you stay nicely with me. But Sarah doesn't listen to him after that, so in anger, Don rapes Sarah, and we see that Sarah is now vomiting repeatedly. Then a week passes and Amy files a missing report for Sarah, and to the police, Don says that she wanted to leave from here and live her life by getting a job somewhere. But Amy tells the officer that she was just that much and she used to think like that, but she never actually did anything, so the officer tells them that in such situations we should give Sarah some time. Who knows, she might come back or maybe she'll call you. So he just tells them to wait because this case is just emotional. On the other side, Sarah is really distressed and misses Chris a lot. Then Chris comes to Amy's house so they can find out about Sarah. But Don gives him a fake story that she ran away with a guy named Steve from the street who was her childhood friend. And they both liked each other a lot, and hearing this, Chris leaves sadly. Then 3 weeks pass and Don brings a cake for Sarah because today is her birthday, and she turns 18 now. And Don tells her to blow out the candles, and Sarah does blow them out because Don had said that if she stays properly with him, he'll set her free. Then he gifts Sarah lingerie and tells her to wear it. And Sarah does wear it, and even then Don tells her to make a wish, so she tells him to let her go outside, and on that, Don tells her that it will take time for that to happen. Sarah asks him for a TV and a clock because without them, she couldn't even tell if it was day or night, and then Don gives her the clock, but before that, he uses Sarah again. Then 37 days pass and Sarah notices that the food can has a line drawn on it, and then she calls Don to intimate her, and then she tries to attack him. But Don had already realized she was hiding something, so he breaks Sarah's wrist and beats her badly. Then almost a year is about to pass and we see that Sarah is pregnant now, and we also see that Don has arranged for Sarah to cook food, and then Sarah starts feeling pain and she gives birth to a baby girl there, whom she names Mary. But Don sees that she has given birth to a baby, which doesn't make him very happy. And just like that, for years pass. And Amy is still very sad remembering Sarah. On the other side, we see that Sarah is pregnant again and she has started living like a wife with Don, and Don tells Sarah that he got a promotion today, and then he goes and sits with his actual family. So really, she tells him that since you got a promotion today, let's hire a private investigator to find Sarah. But on this, Don gets furious and tells Rena that we already have a daughter, and in anger he leaves from there. Then he brings a TV for them, and seeing it they get really happy because for them, this is also a big joy after being confined in the same room for so long. Then time passes like this and Sarah gives birth to a baby boy whom she calls Mike, and at that time, Mary gets a high fever, and Don brings adult medicine for her, which Sarah doesn't want to give. But he tells her that you're her mom, you handle it, and this makes Sarah really angry. Then Sarah tells Mary a story, and in that she tells her that there was a queen who loved a king a lot, but the queen's father cut her wings and imprisoned her in a cave forever. Then more time passes and Chris visits the house again, and there he meets Amy and he asks about Sarah, and in the conversation, Amy tells Chris about Steve that she ran away with her friend, and Chris tells her that your dad told me that, and hearing this, Amy gets a little shocked. And she tells him that sometimes she feels like her dad has hidden her somewhere, but she also feels like she's living her life somewhere. On the other side, we see Mary who insists to Sarah that she wants to go outside, she really wants to see it in the park, but Sarah can't take them there. So she plays with them right there and Sarah gets pregnant again. It annoys Sarah a lot because I told them the story of the resignation, and on this, Amy gets really furious at Eden, and she starts saying that you always scolded her and always kept her confined in the house, and on this, Don also gets angry and she falls down the basement stairs, and then Dr. Nalini goes to handle it. And Amy picks her up and goes to the basement, and there she sees a lot of Sarah stuff like toilet paper type purses and so on. And seeing this, Amy starts thinking, why is there so much stuff? And she starts checking the box, but then Don arrives there and scolds Amy, sending her out from there. On the other side, Sarah feels pain and she gives birth to a new baby boy whom she calls Thomas. He comes to see his baby, and Sarah requests Don to take this baby outside so he can be raised properly, and because of this Don makes a plan, and he leaves the baby outside Sarah's house. Rena comes to see it, and there's a letter in it with Sarah's handwriting, and in it she writes, "Dear Mom, this is my son, but we don't have enough money to raise this baby, so I'm leaving him with you." And seeing this, Rena gets really sad and she takes Thomas home. Then Don sees that there was another letter in it. In that, it was written that Dad has locked me in the basement, and seeing this, Don gets angry and then he punishes Sarah. He intimates her again. Then 17 years pass and Mary and Mike grow a little older, and then Sarah sees that Don is looking at Mary with bad eyes, and she realizes his intentions, so she tells Don to leave from there. And because there's no light, the ventilation doesn't run. So Mary gets asthma problems and she sits in front of the ventilation grill, crying a lot that she has no friends and she wants to get out from here, and Sarah is understanding her condition. On the other side, Rena is raising him really well. Then one day there's a heavy rain and water starts leaking near the sink, and she notices that there's a loose patch on the ceiling which she patches up, and while patching it becomes night, and after that she flashes the torch there so someone outside can see her, and then a man sees that light, but he makes the mistake of telling Don that light is flashing from his basement. Then in anger, Don comes to Sarah and beats her badly, which injures her stomach, and then Mary and Mike get scared and stop Don, and because of this injury Sarah's new baby dies, which makes Mary really sad too, and Don comes to bury that baby. Then Don comes to Sarah and Sarah asks him about Thomas. Don tells her that he's fine and he's going to play in a baseball tournament next month, and then Mike tells Don that he also wants to play, and when will he let him go outside, and then he tells them that when your mom behaves properly, then you'll go outside, and then Sarah tells Don that she's sorry for asking that for him. And then Don leaves from there. Then both Mike and Mary yell at Sarah, "Why did you say sorry to him? What wrong did we ask?" And they start insisting on going outside, but she tells them that I'm just protecting you guys, but they still don't listen to Sarah, and this makes Sarah really angry, and she throws all the stuff there and lies on a journey that doesn't feel like it because that's where she spent her last happy time, and then Mary and Mike feel bad that because of them, their mom got upset. So they put all the stuff back in place and say sorry to Sarah. Then Sarah tells them the whole truth. Everything that Don did with her, and hearing this they get really sad and they also get very scared, which causes Mary to have another asthma attack, and Sarah tells them that she loves them a lot. Then Don comes and scolds Sarah, and then Mike gets angry so he raises his hand on him, and then Don leaves from there and turns off the basement lights from outside. Then more time passes and Don loses his job, and all his money is going towards feeding Sarah and all of them. And Rena asks him where his money is going. On the other side, for ventilation, Sarah breaks that grill. Then they get a notice to vacate the house because he can't pay the EMI for the house. Now he can't handle things anymore, so he decides to kill all of them. So he inserts a pipe into their ventilation and tries to kill them with his car's smoke. But then Thomas arrives there, because of which Don has to turn off his car. Now 20 years are complete, and Mary has a really bad asthma attack because someone outside the house was burning grill, and the three of them are taking care of Mary in the basement. Then that night Don comes to them. And Sarah requests him a lot that she needs a doctor and has to be taken to the hospital. But first, Don doesn't agree, but Sarah is requesting him, and Don also starts feeling that she should be taken to the medical hospital. So he decides to take her to the hospital, but Mike tells Don to stay right there. Then as soon as Sarah comes out of the basement, she sees her house and all memories flash back. And then he takes them to the hospital, where the doctors barely save her, but they do save her. Then a nurse comes to them there and tells them to fill a form, and Sarah is feeling really good coming outside, and then water falls on that form, so she goes to get a new form, and then seeing the chance, Sarah starts going to some nurse and Don starts following behind her. But in time she hugs that nurse and tells her that and there happens to be an officer too who catches Don. Then with Sarah's help, everyone finds out the truth about Don. And Mike is brought out from the basement, because of which Rena gets a huge shock and Don is sent to jail. Then after some time the three siblings play together, and Sarah is sitting outside with her mom and her sister, and then Chris arrives there, and he hasn't gotten married till now, and meeting him feels really good to Sarah, and then he takes Sarah for a drive. And that's where this movie ends.